Welcome to Satsang. Yes,
What's the best way to defeat fear?
well, I don't see fear as an enemy. And so the idea of defeating it seems a little silly. Fear is a natural phenomenon to protect us. It's just that you don't have to serve it if you don't want to. When we were very young, we needed to have fear in our system because we didn't know what was dangerous. And fear alerted us to the dangers of life. But as we became adults, we knew what was dangerous. We knew how to be careful, but unfortunately, fear was still there. And people who serve fear don't have much of a life because fear will have you not do. It'll have you not go. It'll have you not participate. It'll have you caught in procrastination, which is a waste of life. It'll have you caught in worry, which is another waste of life that changes nothing. And so I recognized that when I was a boy, I was in Roman Catholic boarding school, and they tried to control us with the fear of being beaten. And they tried to guilt trip us to control us. And I wasn't the kind of person, even as a boy, that was prepared to be controlled by anybody. And so I refused to serve fear from a very young age. I refused to comply. And no matter how brutal I got, I just refused to comply. Because I saw very clearly that when you serve fear, you don't have a life. Fear is a terrible master. It has you not do. It stops you from playing. And so once I made that decision, I applied it right throughout my life. I refused to serve fear. As a matter of fact, if I was frightened of something, I'd move towards it rather than away from it. Because I didn't see it as an enemy, but I saw it as an obstacle in the way of me having fun. And eventually I saw it as an obstacle in the way of me being successful in the world as a business person. Because in the business world, victory favors the bold, not the gutless. And if you're not willing to step through fear, don't go into business. You will fail. And so I advise people to not serve fear. You have a choice. Fear arises. You have a choice whether to serve it or not. It's up to you.
For most people, fear feels real because they feel it in their physical body. How can they avoid or deal with the physical symptoms of fear?
Well, first of all, you have to really examine what fear is. You have to watch it. You watch it by witnessing the mind. And you see that fear is not actually real. It's a projection to the future. It is not real in the first place. The physical sensations that come when you experience fear, acid filling the stomach, adrenaline going into the bloodstream to get you ready for fight or flight or freeze, these are just physiological symptoms of something that's not actually real. Once you know that fear is not real and that it's only a projection, it is easier to deal with. While you think that fear is real, you have a problem because you're likely to obey it. Fear is not real. Witness your own mind and see for yourself. There is nothing at all real about fear. It is simply a projection into the future.
Is fear in any way related to controlling our circumstances?
Well, fear is a survival mechanism. We try to control everything because we want to survive. It's just in higher consciousness, we've got to learn to accept life rather than trying to control it. In acceptance of life, we develop an equanimous mind that stays at peace. A mind that is constantly trying to survive is not at peace. It is in stress, it's in turmoil. When you serve fear, you are in turmoil. In not serving fear, there's way less turmoil. Life's a lot easier. And so, from someone who hasn't served fear for 60 years or more, I recommend you don't serve it.
How can a seeker overcome the fear of death?
I recognise that the fear of death would have stopped me from diving. I got my diver certificate when I was 10 years old, and I dived in shark-infested waters regularly. And if I allowed the fear of being eaten by sharks to get to me, I would have had to stop diving. And so I wasn't prepared to do that. So I allowed the I don't know what's happening there. Can you sort that out? Thank you. I allowed the sharks to eat me. Every time I got in the water, and I got in the water hundreds and hundreds of times, I just allowed them to eat me. I wasn't prepared to allow fear of being eaten by sharks to get to me. And for me, that was actually quite an experience in learning to face fear, because the man who taught me how to dive, Teddy Foster, got eaten by sharks. He was my uncle. And he got eaten by sharks when his cray boat capsized off the Abrolhos Islands. And I found his pictures, the pictures of the floats that the 3 crewmen had tied together when the boat capsized, and it was full of shark's teeth, and all 3 of them were eaten. And so I got traumatized by that, because I was only probably about 11 years old. And so every time I went to get in the water, in deep water with sharks, there was the trauma came, but I simply would not serve it. If you serve fear, you can't play. It's that simple. It's up to you. You're the one that gets the choice. I had a choice, and I chose not to serve fear.
Lastly, we've got a question from Chris Ballmer online. Is resistance a necessary precursor to letting go? Or can one cultivate letting go as a way of being more proactively?
Just let go. You don't need to understand. Understanding's the booby prize here. Just let go. You practice let go, you practice acceptance. That's what needs to happen. Understanding really doesn't help. The need to understand is the need to control, and the need to control is actually in the way. Let go, let go, let go. Stop trying to control. Let go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any statements? Or does anyone have anything they'd like to talk about?
Hey.
Hello.
Hello, Vishrant. When you were talking about going diving with the sharks, and you go out and allow the sharks to eat you, the way I understand it is like you were imagining that scenario to eventuate, and you were surrendering to that.
Yeah, I was making that okay.
So how do do you, like, I guess like I'm saying, like there's a certain richness in your imagination to make that feel so real. And I've noticed that there are times where I try to imagine the worst of a situation to try and surrender to, but it doesn't have that same realness. I'm just wondering, like, how can you kind of create that scenario so that you can actually really know you surrendered to it?
Every day, you'll be involved in things where fear arises. It's a natural phenomenon that comes up to protect us. Every time it comes up, you can serve it or not. Your choice. In serving fear, we might live to 100 or more. In not serving fear, you might die younger. I never expected to live a day, a year after I was 18. I never expected to live a year. Every year to me has been a bonus, and every year has been celebrated to the max to this day. Because we have this spacesuit and we can use it to have a great life by squeezing the juice out of it and doing things, or we can hide away in some unit somewhere watching Netflix, watching other people play football on a screen, become voyeurs of life instead of experiencers of life. I've always chosen to be the experiencer of life because that's where the fun is. Your choice. What do you choose?
I think I do serve a lot of fear,
Okay.
but I'm noticing that I feel like I do, but I'm noticing more of a willingness to just keep trying. To keep trying until I get it.
You really do have to see what fear is. You have to witness it and watch it and study it. And once you know how it all works, it becomes easier to not serve it. For most human beings, I think they think that fear is real. There is nothing real about fear. It's a projection. Okay?
Yeah, thank you, that's helpful.
Hello, Choden.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
So about your own about fear, when you say that it's not a real thing, it's some kind of chemical in the body, and I react to that. Or what do you mean by it's not real?
What I've advised you to do is witness it and see for yourself. Asking me for more information about it isn't going to help you at all. You actually have to find out for yourself through your own exploration of your own mind. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. That's good. Hello, Willow.
Hello, Vishrant.
Hello.
Today before Satsang, I did a very nice fuck you, fuck off, fuck it dance. And it was empowering, but I wonder if people coming up, especially like abusive men I've been with, and it's like, and is that wrong? Do I hurt them, or is it bad to feel like this for a certain person, or not?
You're talking to someone who loves everybody, no matter what.
You don't
I
hate
see,
them.
I see
It's just-
people doing the wrong thing, but I still love them. I just don't like their behavior. And so the fact, it depends where you're coming from. If you're coming from a place of anger, anger is a form of violence, and it's not a good thing to get involved in.
I don't think so. It was more very pleasurable. Like
Pleasure, right? Okay. Well,
you know,
it
that
doesn't sound.
feeling of taking back something, you know, like reclaim something. It's not really like I hate them, because I don't.
Okay, sounds okay. Sounds fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I enjoyed it a lot, at least.
Sounds good.
And then
Anything
I
else?
have, yes, I have one more question. And it's about the pain and the pleasure. And pain seems to, when you feel it, it's releasing. You get less heavy, you get like more loving and so on. But pleasure, is that, it seems to be a bit addictive, but could it also be healing?
Could what be healing?
Pleasure, like the pain could be when you feel it, it's releasing something.
And you get pleasure when it's releasing. I'm not really understanding you, Willow. When do you get the pleasure?
I just wonder if it could be like I could feel in my body, when I feel the pain, there will be pleasure, like the other side of the coin. So is it equal healing?
Okay, so I've got what you're asking me. My approach was very, very simple. Anything that appeared was warmly welcomed. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It was all warmly welcomed until there was nothing left. And when you look at that, that's basically acceptance of what is. But it's more than acceptance of what is. It's warm welcoming. And in warm welcoming, we heal the wounds of our heart. We heal our traumas. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. Then in the woman who spoke before Shodan, she said something about feeling the fear, like imagining it, and I haven't really seen it like that. That you can imagine and then heal yourself through that. Is that possible? So I can just sense imagine my old traumas and then just be okay with it, and it will be healed.
Warmly welcoming whatever appears is the answer. It's not complex, it's very simple. Whatever appears, you warmly welcome.
Yeah. No.
Anything else, Willow?
No. Yes, I want to say, like, because you said this about the sharks, and for me to be one of the first one to speak is very scary. So I felt like that was a really good one for me. Thank you.
So what you're doing is you're putting me in the category of shark.
Yes.
Thank you, Willow.
Love you.
David Buriz. David.
Hello.
Hello, David.
I have a question. I have multiple questions, but I'll start with one. What's the role? I note everything on a paper to be easier to not lose myself in the questions. What's the role of sexual energy on the spiritual path? Like, it's okay to be wasted. Some people say one should not lose it once in 7 days. Other depends on the age. I don't know. I don't understand so much.
Yeah, and I don't care. I got into Tantra for about 4 years, which is pretty wild because the guy's not supposed to orgasm. And he ends up being a walking dick. Everything becomes attractive. And that's a distraction. If you're interested in higher consciousness, you go for higher consciousness. You have to remove distractions, anything that's in the way. Not that you can't have sex, you can do anything you like. You just got to put truth first. Whatever you put first is going to win. If you put sexuality first, well, that's going to win. But as a seeker, you really need to put truth first. And you can put heart first, because truth and heart are synonymous. It's whatever you put first. It's up to you. You can have everything else below that, whatever you like, but truth has to be first.
So
Okay.
it doesn't matter what I do, I have to put truth first. No matter, I can still masturbate and put the truth first, and that's okay.
Whatever you do, you put truth first and then everything else second. And if your thing is masturbation, just go for it, baby. But put truth first.
Okay.
Anything else, David?
Not about this not on this topic. Second question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I need to relax a little bit. Every time when I came here, I feel under pressure.
Have you tried masturbation?
Yeah, three times a day up till a point. What's the cause of burnout and dissociation, and how to heal that?
With regards to what? How are you burning out? Too much masturbation?
No, I'm burnout as a physical condition. When you don't feel your body in order anymore, when you're totally exhausted.
Yeah. Why would you want to do that?
Feel disconnected from own body. Like sometimes it happens that I don't feel really connected to my body. I feel like I'm somewhere out of it, but also not out of it. I'm half in the body, half out of the body, and it's not the most pleasant feeling.
Okay. Have you seen a psychologist?
Not yet, because some psychologists are not to trust. I don't trust the psychologists that much. Yeah. Not all the psychologists are aware.
When you witness the mind, you do get detached from the mind to some degree, but that detachment doesn't necessarily include detachment from the body. It's not a bad idea if you're having that sort of a condition occur to speak to someone who's an expert in that area, like a psychologist or a psychiatrist. My mind is totally detached, but not from the body. My energy is totally in my body. I'm so grounded in my body, it's not funny. Also grounded in beingness, as beingness, at the same time. It allows me to be here, because a spacesuit is inhabited.
Yes. That was one of my questions. I wanted to ask further how to ground the energy, because sometimes I feel that the mind can be overactive because there is too much energy in the body. The energy is not grounded.
Physicality, get physical. Anything you do that brings your awareness into your feet, into your hands, into any part of your body grounds you in your body. The reason people aren't grounded in their body is because they're grounded in their mind, because they're constantly thinking. Present moment awareness to the body grounds you in the body, but you have to practice it. It's not something that you get because you think it's a good idea. It comes through practice. I walked around Australia for 4 years without any shoes on because I wanted to be grounded in my body. I wanted to feel the earth and I wanted to feel my body. And so I took my shoes off and I walked around Australia barefoot for 4 years.
Oh. Pretty
Anything
cool.
else? Oh yeah, I love it.
Can't do that here in Europe because it's very cold in the winter. But yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I wore a t-shirt and shorts through winter and summer because I allowed myself to surrender to the cold. And in the summer, I allowed myself to surrender to the heat because I knew that the practice of let go, the practice of acceptance, puts you in the right space for higher consciousness, heart, and enlightenment. Anything else?
Yes. One more question for today. I probably have more, but I want to leave place for other people as well. I see that one can be out of balance if the chakras are closed or not balanced. What's the best way to open and balance the chakras or the energy centers?
I understand the question. The chakras are related to how you think. If you're closed-minded, you're going to have closed chakras. And so openness counts for everything. Everything that's in the way of openness, you remove. Everything. And you'll find that you start opening the chakras up. If you want to open the crown and the third eye, you come into the presence of someone who's awake, the Buddha field, and it opens the crown and the third eye and the heart. You want to open the other chakras, just practice openness. The only thing that closes the chakras down really is defendedness.
I had the feeling you would say that.
Yeah. You've got to walk through this world vulnerable. This is the way. Totally open. Let the world pass through you rather than getting caught in you. This works. Anything else, David?
Can I add quickly one more?
No.
Why I am thinking...
I made a mistake. You already told me you'd given me a lot. I've got some people here I haven't seen before that I want to say hello to. So, David, let me do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Pat. Hello. Thank you. Yeah. Pat. Hello.
Hello, Vishrant. Sorry.
Hello.
So I wanted to ask you, while you were walking barefoot, you were sleeping, where you were sleeping?
I was sleeping on the roadside. I was a bum. I gave up my companies and I gave everything away, including my furniture, and I just walked around Australia as a bum. Earned a bit of money here, a little bit of money there, but basically I was broke. And I lost a lot of weight.
Imagine, yeah.
What I was looking for was my heart, because I had lost my heart being a businessman and I wanted to find my heart again. And so I walked around Australia and became humble. I became a nobody going nowhere. And in that nobody going nowhere, and in the openness I was practicing, I found my heart. I found the only thing that is worth anything on this planet, love. Not outside of myself, in the arms of someone else, but inside myself. And it is beautiful. And it's been here since then.
Did you push yourself like morally, like when you were not feeling to do something for someone else?
Yes, I had to, because I had such a calculator as a mind, you know, like it was so used to working out the percentages. I used to have to step through it and just force myself to become a giver instead of remaining a very sneaky, successful taker.
Thank you, Vishrant.
It's nice to talk to you, Pat. Where are you from?
I'm from Argentina, but I live in Australia.
Ah, you should come and say hello.
I want to, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you'd be
in
welcome.
Townsville. I'm in Townsville now for work.
Ah, oh, you're welcome to trot down here. You're a long way away.
Yeah, I know. Never been to
Aren't you
Perth,
guys
but
getting,
I want to.
isn't it flooding up there at the moment?
No, it's not even raining.
Ah, good. No, I'll talk to you again.
Yeah,
Nice to talk to you, Pat.
thank you, Vishrant. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Who else do I see on? Mirez. Mirez, hello. Yeah. Hello, Miraz.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Hello, Vishrant.
Hello.
So, I'm from Nepal, but my journey actually started when I was living in Perth, and I was doing high school at the time, and I tried a few meditation. I'd been through Vipassana, but it wasn't satisfying for me. And then I came across Muji once, and then he just blew my mind. And because he told me, you are not your thought, and that just blew my mind, and it opened me up. It just, yeah, emptied me basically. When I started to watch the thoughts and realize that everything is just thought, every little thing, and I'm beyond that, and I wanted to dissolve completely into that. Then I decided to leave everything, decided to drop everything, and I went to India, stayed in Sadhguru's ashram for a few years. I even became a yoga teacher, but even that was not satisfying. So even spiritual experiences come and go. It's just like material pleasures. And now, a few months back, so my main practice has been self-inquiry. And a few months back, I had an experience, and I really was looking for a master who could guide me through this. And I recently came across you, and I resonated with every single word you were saying. And so what I experienced was, so after years of practicing self-inquiry, it's become easier for me to, just stay as a witness of the mind. And being able to do that at times when I at times I started to face death, literally. And it was like being close to a black hole. It was like such a powerful free fall. It was definitely I know for sure that it was different. It was completely different, undescribable, different, completely different from all the spiritual experiences I've ever had, even Kundalini, whatever. And now I feel like, to know the truth, of what this is all about, I have to accept my death. And I'm here today hoping that you would guide me through this and basically destroy me. I need your help to cultivate this courage to accept it. And yes, this is...
Okay, that's all you think you need. You see, there's a little bit more. You see, self-inquiry is absolutely brilliant for awareness turning back to itself. But unfortunately, if the mind has not been prepared for what is found, it will cause trouble and attract awareness back to itself. And so people have satoris through self-inquiry, but they lose what they've found because the mind goes back to contraction.
Yeah.
It goes back to distance. And so the work isn't self-inquiry. That's actually at the end of the line. The work is preparing the mind to be equanimous, to be able to take fire without contracting and give fire without contracting. Yeah. And so I understand what you've asked me. Dying has to be to everything. And ultimately, you give your life, you give your life, which is not real, you know that by now, but you give it to truth. And you don't have anything back. It's all for God or truth and nothing for you. It's the only deal in town if you're interested in enlightenment. And then if enlightenment happens, you don't have a future or a past because those things don't exist. You also don't have fear anymore because that's a part of the survival mechanism that died when the eye dropped. But to get to that stage, you have to take away all the things, all the obstacles that are in the way. Anything that causes contraction in you, any offense you take from anyone is in the way. And so it's a dismantling process, a slimming down process, an undoing process, a reverse engineering process that works. And so you're a seeker. You want to get reverse engineered and you want to do it quickly. It's not a quick process. Enlightenment is, but the undoing process is a slow process. And you only know you're caught when you get caught, when something in the world disturbs you. If something in the world disturbs you, there's a belief system probably that supports that contraction or that resistance. And that belief system is now in the way. And so Ramana Maharshi, who promoted self-inquiry, really said it was only for people at the end of the path, not for people in the beginning or the middle, but people at the end who had done all the work on themselves. And this is where Advaita fails people. The Neo-Advaita fails people. It doesn't help people undo themselves. And so you've come along to a teacher who does that. That's exactly what I do. I do these 3 days of public satsangs, which are reasonably benign, and then I do 4 days of private satsangs for for seekers who are a little bit stronger, who want to go further, and they get taken apart. Taking apart people publicly on an open forum doesn't work. It disturbs too many people. So I just do this. I talk to people like this. And there's a Buddha field here. If people tune in, they can find it. It'll start affecting them. It starts undoing. Sadhguru has a Buddha field. Mooji has a Buddha field. I was in Osho's Buddha field for 7 years, and I was in the Advaita Vedanta's Buddha field. There are quite a few of them. I used to love going to their satsangs because they're holding the space. That's great, but if you're not undoing yourself, if you're just getting stoned on the energy, you're wasting your time. And it's easy to get hooked on the energy of satsang because it's nice. Your mind expands, you start finding the emptinesses yourself, but you're being supported by someone else. You're on someone else's coattails. The whole idea is to find that space for yourself and die in it. And so you've come along And you've been guru shopping. Yeah. The problem with Muji and the problem with Sadhguru is they've got so big, it's very hard to get close to them.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't like about Osho. I mean, he was my master, but I couldn't go and have a chat with him. I couldn't have a coffee with him. I couldn't come to Satsang and sit close to him. You know, the closest I get was about 50 meters away with 2,000 other people. And I think Satguru is bigger than that. Muji probably is now too. And so people who are really keen, I'm attracted to them. If you're really keen, I'm attracted to you because you have a chance. It is that totality, that thirst that the seeker has that will bring them home because they'll do whatever is needed to make it so.
Yeah.
I had that thirst, so I know. You have to be willing to die. You have to be willing to give God everything and nothing for you. It started for me with giving everything to love rather than truth because I'd given up on truth because my master, Osho, died. And I didn't think it was possible for me to wake up in this lifetime. So I decided to serve heart because serving heart is quite beautiful and it's a lovely way to live. And so I went into service to humanity as a naturopath and psychotherapist. That took me a long way because it allowed me to open more and more and more and more. And that openness set me up for the right place for enlightenment when my next lot of awake teachers came. Eventually, in their presence, I found myself as the vast nothingness of everything. And it's been like that for 24 years now. For 6 months after, I just sat still staring into space until one of those teachers came and dragged me out and said, hey, you've got to share this. You can't just stay staring into space. You have to pretend to be human being again. Because when you wake up, you're no longer human. You are pure beingness. And you can't be touched by anything. And so you're headed in the right direction. But I don't know enough about you yet to know what might be in your way.
Yes. I've been going through a lot of suffering past, I don't know how many years. And it's made my heart really strong, you know, being able to de-identify from even emotions, not just thoughts. And that's been my work, I guess, in the recent years. But yeah, I feel like when that happens again, I feel like I need that courage to be able to face that. I tried to avoid it when it happened for the first time, but every time it's happening, I'm getting more and more familiar with the unknown. I mean, not familiar. I mean, it's the unknown, right? It's scary, but I definitely want to dissolve completely into that. And I'm actually a songwriter, and I'm planning to come back to Australia to release my debut album, and I plan to be in Perth as well. So I hope to be with you in person, actually.
Well, you come back to Australia and you come and sit with me, and I'll have you in my crosshairs. Because I'm here for people who want to get free.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I'm teaching kindergarten. I'm teaching people how to be mature, which is what's a requirement for enlightenment also. But when someone's ready, the field of energy here is here. And it's the field of energy that is the doorway into your own nature.
Yeah.
It is the portal. Yeah. When one comes who is so keen, the guru rubs his hands together. Maybe this one. Maybe this one.
Yeah.
Anything
I feel
else?
like I'm really, really close and ready. So yeah, I really am very keen to meet you in person.
Okay, so when you do meet me, you've got to tune into the silence and the stillness because they're the only things you can trust. You can't trust your mind anymore.
No.
It will try to survive. The only thing you can trust is the silence and stillness.
Yeah.
And you
Emptiness.
give your life to that. They're the symptoms of beingness. They're the symptoms of what we are. Silence and stillness.
I have to trust that emptiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you've probably seen the emptiness and you've been walking around it like a big abyss. But the thing about that is, if you keep looking at the emptiness, at the abyss, one day you find you are the abyss. Like right now, I am the abyss. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, Maurice?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just keep tuning in. It's a doorway. It's not personal, it's a doorway. Just keep tuning in.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally relate to when you say staring into the abyss. Yeah, it's right here. I can see it. I can feel it.
Yes. I can feel you, mate. Trust it. Trust the silence. Trust the stillness. Don't trust the measuring mind. The mind will start to try to measure it now. That's the ego trying to survive. Don't trust the measurer. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello, Frida.
Hello, Vishrant.
Hello.
So my question is, I've been feeling a little bit guilty because I kind of lied. Well, I did lie to my work to get some days off. Is it okay to lie if you're not hurting anybody?
I think it's okay for everything. I don't have this set of rules. The only rule I have is that I don't hurt anybody because, Miraz, you have to put your mic on mute. Thank you. And Frida, can you say hello again? Just say hello.
Hello.
Yeah. And so when you find heart, all you want to do is take care of everyone and everything. Now, if you don't want to go to work, don't go to work. Tell them some lies. Because morality is actually bull dust. When you find heart, you don't need morality. You don't need a set of rules to live by because you will take care of everybody because that's how heart affects the mind. If everybody on the planet had heart, we wouldn't need a police force or a prison or judges because everybody would be taking care of everybody. And so the deal is open up enough, Frida, to find heart all the time, and then your whole life will change. This is the way. This is the way of the heart. I don't
Thank you so much.
I just don't get into good, bad, right, and wrong. That's all rubbish. Acceptance is best. Yeah, we've all been badly programmed.
Yeah, I've just been feeling guilty because like you said, we've been programmed like lying is bad, but I don't feel like I did anything bad.
Don't feel guilty. Look, the thing about feeling guilty is you're beating yourself up for something, right? Look, the world will do that for you for free. Don't help. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you so much.
Good to see you, Frida.
Good to see you.
Come on, Macbeth. I know you're there. I can see you. Hello.
What's the very first step that someone should take on the path to higher consciousness?
Getting born as a human. It works every time. Very first step. How are you going with that so far?
I think I'm almost there. Almost. I have a second question. What is the second thing that someone should do on the path to higher consciousness?
Decide that they want it. See, most people don't realize there's actually such a thing as higher consciousness. But there is. Higher consciousness is absolutely brilliant because it's like sitting on the top of a mountain, looking at the whole world and seeing everything happening and seeing the consequences of everything you're saying and everything you're doing and seeing the consequences of everybody else, what they say and what they do also. But people don't understand. They're caught in lower consciousness because they're caught in resistance to life. This is lower consciousness. They don't understand that there is another way to live here, higher consciousness. And if you develop higher consciousness, you can become successful at just about anything you do because you're playing against people who have lower consciousness. But you've got to want it first. You've got to see the difference between lower consciousness and higher consciousness. And then you've got to do what supports higher consciousness and stop doing what supports lower consciousness. Any kind of victim-orientated thinking supports lower consciousness. Any kind of resistance to life supports lower consciousness. And so eliminating victim-orientated thinking out of your life, eliminating worry out of your life, eliminating procrastination out of your life, and these are all choices, sets you up for higher consciousness because you're eliminating the things that keep most people stuck in lower consciousness. And this is not related to intelligence. It's related to basically removing the obstacles that are in the way of higher consciousness. You start witnessing your own mind because you think, well, start witnessing your own mind from a place of non-judgment. Just watch it from non-judgment. And in watching it, you start to see how it's acting. You start to see all the games, all the programs. You start to see all the bullshit. And because you can now see it, you have a choice whether you run it or not. Before you see it, you have no choice. It runs automatically and unconsciously. And so starting to witness the mind in a lot of ways is the beginning. Just watch what the mind does without judgment, without analysing. Just witness it and see.
Thank you.
I hear you're going to university and you're going to live in Perth.
I am. I'm going to stay on campus at UWA in Crawley.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be able to attend more.
Yeah. I might get to see you in person a bit more.
I'd like that.
I see your sister a fair bit because she actually works at a cafe that I like to get coffee at.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she really enjoys the connection.
Yeah, she's fallen in love with truth as well, and she's fallen into in love with the way of the heart. And what a wonderful thing to fall in love with, really, or to be interested in. What a wonderful thing. You too, I know. You too. Anything else, Macbeth?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vishrant.
Hello, Raheem.
Hello.
Hello.
I've lost my question, but it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Raheem. Why don't we try Rajesh? Hello, Rajesh.
Hi, Vishrant.
Hello.
What role does having someone to love play in opening up and finding heart?
What does
What
Ask
role
the
does
question again. Sorry.
yes? What role does having someone to love play in opening up and finding heart?
Not much, really, because finding love is an internal process, not an external process. And quite often when you get together with a partner, it's more primal programming, you know, rather than love. It's the primal programming, the mating game. Unconditional love is found inside of you, not outside of you. Though it is everywhere, but trying to find it in another human being, you usually come across as some kind of beggar. It's best to try to find it inside yourself. And you do that by opening right up and allowing yourself to remain open. Because when we are wide open, we can perceive love or unconditional love quite readily. When we are closed, we cannot. When we are defended, we cannot. Okay?
Yes. Although
You knew
I'm
the answer to that anyway. You know. I want to speak to Gaudiya because I've got something for Gaudiya. Okay?
sure.
Thank you,
Thank
Rajesh. I see you very. It's nice to see you, but I want to have a speak to Gaudiya. Hello, Gaudiya. Guess what
Hello,
we've got for you?
Vishrant. A name.
Yeah, you wanted to become a sannyasin.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have found a name for you. And your life starts from now. You've been given an opportunity for a new life, a new way of being in the world, a way of being into high consciousness, into heart, into spirituality. Today is your beginning. In 1 year's time, you'll be 1 year old. So your sannyasin name is Prem Aaron. Aaron meaning bringer of light, and Prem meaning love. It is in perceiving love that we can share that light with others. Openness counts for everything. So, bringer of light, Aaron, welcome. I give our new brother, Aaron. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your name is spelled Aaron, Aaron.
You say? Can you repeat, please?
Aaron. There's a certificate here for you, and we'll post you that. We'll send that to you. It has your name on it. And you have now become a disciple of mine, and now I will work with you more because you are now with me, and I am with you. And my interest is in your awakening. My interest is in you coming home. Anything you'd like to say, Aaron?
It's no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vishrant.
Thank you. Thank you for Satsang. Good to see you, brave hearts, here tonight. Sorry to those people that I couldn't say hello to tonight. I'll be online again tomorrow night. You're very welcome, Aaron.